Hello, everybody. I was just waiting for it to tell me that it had started recording because as soon as I hit record, it froze up. Anyway, welcome back. um, I'm doing an unhaul today, or this video. I guess it's technically the same day. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21 books, I think, that I'm getting rid of. Let's see if I can put them in some kind of order. We're going to start with 8 of the Sue Grafton, Kinsey Mahone series. I don't have all of them, and I don't see the point in keeping them after I read them. They're fine. They're just not my favorites. So I'm just as I finish them, I'm passing them on. Most of them came from library book sale anyway. So eventually they're either going back to the library or they're going to go into a little free library so people can pick them up. The ones I didn't get at a library sale, I got from the little free library. So I still have a handful of them I haven't read that are over on top of my dresser. So as I get there, I will unhaul them as I read them. I have D is for Deadbeat, F is for Fugitive, H is for Homicide, J is for Judgment, K is for Killer, 2 copies of N is for Noose, which apparently I have another copy of on the shelf, and T is for Trespass. I don't have a list of the ones I own, so when I see them, I pick them up. That's how I ended up with so many copies of N. I find that kind of weird, but yeah, that's just how it is. Let me get these out of my box so I can reload the box as I go through them. So there's that stack. Excuse me. I've been having allergy issues all day. So either my eyes are burning, itching, and watering, or my nose is dripping, or I'm coughing. It's just, I'm a mess. But then I'm always a mess. What else do I have? Let's go with comedy next. I have some that I've read. That these all came from various book sales. We've got Jeff Foxworthy, No Shirt, No Shoes, No Problem. This one, it wasn't bad. I would have preferred him doing it as a stand-up and watching it rather than just reading it on the page. It just loses something. Pretty much all of these, it's the same way. They just lose something when it's a stand-up comedian writing. You want the whatever it is, that it comes alive when they're doing it as a stand-up. George Carlin, Brain Droppings, same thing. I could hear his voice in my head as I read. I think I found an audiobook for this one. I didn't find one for the Jeff Foxworthy, but I did for Carlin and Dave Barry from Mars and Venus. I've read a lot of Dave Barry lately. I love his sense of humor. And then the Darwin Awards, Evolution in Action. This is the first one of that series. There's at least 4 books. I don't know how many there are total, but I know there's at least 4. And the weird thing is the audiobook skips some of them. I thought that was kind of weird. Kind of disappointing. What else do I have? I have Rudyard Kipling's selection of stories and poems. I really had some problems with this. There's so much racism. And I know it's from the time period that these were written. A lot of negative comments against people from India because of the colonialism and everything. I couldn't even finish it. I read a few of them, and I was like, nope, can't do it. I gave up. It was just annoying me too much. This one is called Alphabet Killer, the true story of the double initial murders. And there's three young girls that end up getting kidnapped and murdered, and they all have their first and last initial are the same. Does it have their names listed? They never found the killer. There's some interesting theories as to who it could be, but the person was never found. This is the investigation into it. Little girls named Carmen Colon, Wanda Volkovitz, and Michelle Mienza. I hope I'm saying their names right. But they were young girls that were kidnapped and murdered. They all had double initials, and they were killed either in or near a town that the name of the town matched their initials, which is kind of interesting. But true crime. I had read that one before and didn't realize it, and had picked it up at a library book sale, and I was partway through it, and I'm going, I think I've read this before. And the more I read, the more I'm like, yeah, I have read this. Well, then I was so far into it, I said, I'll just go ahead and finish it and read it for a second time. It was good. Interesting how they went through the process of trying to find the killer. Unfortunately, they never did. I have Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. This was good. I enjoyed this one. It was an interesting thriller. The twist, oh my god, I never saw the twist coming. It was something. It was really something. This one I actually won from Goodreads a couple years ago, and I finally read it. Took a while, but I got there. This one is called The Other Mississippi, especially the 1920s and 1930s by Bob Carney. I found this one in the Little Free Library, and it was interesting. The writing style, you could tell that the person who wrote it wasn't an author. It was very conversational. It was like if you went to like your grandparents and they were telling you stories of when they were a kid. I didn't know who any of the people were. Wasn't familiar with any of the settings. I've never been to Mississippi. But some of the stories were pretty darn interesting. Like I said, not well written. You could tell that the person wasn't a normal author. I thought it was alright. Here's Even If We Break by Marika Nijkamp. I hope I'm saying the name right. Kind of a YA thriller. Very strange. 5 friends go to a cabin. 4 of them are hiding secrets. 3 years of history bind them. 2 are doomed from the start. 1 person wants to end this. No one is safe. Are you ready to play? It was interesting. Definitely interesting. I liked it. It wasn't like a 4 or 5 star. I think I gave it a 3 stars, but it's been a little while since I read it. Again, I found this one in the Little Free Library, and it was pretty much brand new. It's gotten a little roughed up. I have a mouse issue in my house, and the more I try to get rid of them, the worse they get. And they like to chew on covers of books. Just very annoying. So they chewed the edge of that a little bit, but it's not bad. Mother Tongue. I just hauled this one in previous video. Um, it's about an author in Australia who finds out that she was kidnapped when she was like 3 days old, kidnapped out of the hospital, and that the woman who raised her all her life wasn't really her mother. Sounds like a fantastic concept. Personally, I didn't like the way they wrote it, the way they structured it. I go a little more into detail with it in my haul video. I think this cover is amazing. I love this cover. Apparently, this had been published previously in Australia and is due to come out in the United States in September 15th, 2022. So, if you're interested in taking a look at it, the writing is at times very beautiful and poetic and really pretty nice. My issue was the structure of it. It's not linear, which normally isn't a big deal. In this case, I think it would have helped. People are mentioned before they're introduced, and you're going, who's this person? Why are we talking about this? And then 2 or 3 chapters later, that person's introduced. And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. I struggled with that one. I got 3 more. This one is Mr. Nutta and His Reeky Pecan Peanut Butter by B.B. Mason. This is a book from the UK. I was approached on Goodreads and asked if I would be willing to read it and give my opinion on it by the author. And I went and I searched it out because I thought it sounded really interesting. And I bought my copy and read it. It says, Mr. Nutta, inherited owner of a mediocre peanut butter company, the Nut Butt Corporation, has an innovative solution for world domination that is quite frankly so devious, so terrible, so downright despicable, one wonders how he sleeps at night. A huge satellite dish recently installed on the factory roof is a real eyesore and brings with it hordes of complaining protesters. Part of his plan, or simply a TV upgrade? And, speaking of eyesores, which practical joker is collecting eyeballs? Yes, you read that correctly. Mysterious, monstrous, blobby-type blobs are terrorizing the county, sucking eyeballs right from people's faces. Now what's that all about? Bursting off the page with mischief, chaos, quirky bodily mishaps, and mind control techniques that can only be fantasized by marketing directors and far and wide, this action-packed read has it all. And, yes, even the lovable zombie gets a mention. But you won't find any of these gormless grouches predictably shuffling around in search of brains or anger management courses here. Oh no. I thought that sounded really fun. There were some issues in the book. Part of it is difference in vocabulary between the UK and the US. And I managed to get through that pretty well. I ran into some editing issues and punctuation issues. And I'm not sure if punctuation is done a little different in the UK than it is here. But there were things that I made it hard to read. I mean, I was stumbling reading the back of it because there's some spots where punctuation was either missing or it was added in the wrong spot, and I had to, in my brain, try to figure out what it is they're trying to do. I think boys would really like this because there's a lot of fart humor. I don't know, it was alright. Not my favorite book, but it was alright. I think I'm going to pass it on and see if somebody else wants it. I would say it's somewhere in the range of older middle grade, young adult. There were some situations that you would find more in young adult than you would in middle grade, like they go to a bar. There's like guns and stuff. So I wasn't sure if those things would be necessarily appropriate for middle grade, but you see that sometimes in young adults. So it's kind of in that weird spot in between the two age groups. Then I have Spider-Man Far From Home, Peter and Ned's Ultimate Travel Journal. This was so much fun. I think I mentioned it in my other video because I have the Rocket and Groot one. Again, it's like a lot of mixed media kind of stuff. You got stuff drawn in. You got, different people commenting in different fonts and colors, and there's some illustrations and things. It's a cute book. Again, I think probably middle grade would appreciate it a lot. Maybe some young adult. I would say middle grade is probably appropriate for this. I thought it was great fun. What do I know? I'm almost 50. How would I know what's appropriate for different age groups, right? And then there is, let me do it this way. Skip and Loafer, this volume 1. It's a manga. This is story and art by Masaki Takamatsu. Again, I think probably a young adult would be appropriate. It's about a girl who moves from the country to the city for high school, and she meets a boy, and then she meets a group of new friends, and she wants to fall in love and things like that. I mean, the typical young teenage girl plot line. There's a couple times, and I was wondering if the one boy who's kind of the one they're leaning towards being our love interest, I wondered if he's her dog. Because a couple times it mentioned something, and then there'd be a picture of her dog, where he was, and then it'd be back to him. And so I was wondering, are they implying that he's actually her dog? I don't know. But it was alright. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was a decent enough story. It just didn't appeal to my interests. I've read other manga that I liked better. This is one I got out of one of those Manga Spice Cafe crates that I used to do on the channel. I haven't done them in a while. Right now I can't afford to until I go back to work. Looking for a job. I've read a couple other manga. Again, I seem to have picked up a stack of them that are like middle grade and young adult, and less adult ones, which is kind of disappointing because I'd rather read the adults oriented ones, but not adult as in like sex, but adult as in reading level, instead of kids comics basically. But some of the ones I've read recently haven't been too bad. There was one called, I think it's Call of the Night or something like that, at volume 1, where this boy is decided to skip school because he's not interested in it, and he meets this girl who happens to be a vampire, and he wants to be a vampire, and apparently the way you become a vampire is to fall in love with a vampire, and it doesn't have anything to do with being bitten or anything, which I found a little weird and suspect. But the whole book is he's trying to fall in love with her, and she's trying to get him to not fall in love with her because she doesn't want to make another vampire. I don't know. It was odd. So I don't know if I want to continue with volume 2 or not. I'm keeping that one because it's vampires, and I've got a collection of vampire books that I'm keeping, but not real sure on that one. But that's where I am right now. So I've got a nice box of stuff to donate. We're planning on going into town tomorrow, so I'll see if I can't put some of them in the little free library and maybe donate some to the library's book sale. Although, to donate to the book sale, I probably ought to wait a little while, because that's not until May. So if I wait couple weeks before I donate that then they might actually make it to the book sale. Um, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to go this time and actually get a few books. And I've had times where I've come home with 100 books, and the last time I went I came home with like 20 because I didn't get to go until the end of the second day and things were pretty well picked over. But they only do it on like Thursday and Friday, which I find strange. Why not have it like Friday and Saturday morning? Because if you have it on Saturday, you've got more chance of people coming. People who work during the week. But hey, they don't ask me. But that's really all I've got right now. Just a quick little unhaul. And I guess I'll wrap that up for now, and we'll see you in the next video. Remember to do all the YouTube-y things like comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you want to be notified of future uploads. And I guess we'll see you in the next one. Bye!